Story 1. I've been driving city buses for 8 years now. Started right after my military service when I needed steady work with good benefits. The pay is decent, the union is strong, and honestly, I like the routine. Same routes, familiar faces, and most passengers are pretty respectful once they learn the rules. Driving the number 47 route, I see all kinds of people. Office workers heading downtown, students going to the community college, elderly folks running errands. You develop relationships with regular riders over the years. Most understand that buses have designated stops for safety and legal reasons. We can't just pull over anywhere someone wants to get off. The route I was driving that Thursday runs through a mix of residential and commercial areas. Lots of apartment complexes and strip malls, with stops every few blocks. It's one of our busier lines, especially during rush hour when people are trying to get home from work. Around 4:30 p.m., she got on at the downtown transit center. Well-dressed woman, probably mid-40s, carrying designer bags and talking loudly on her phone. She paid her fare without looking at me and found a seat near the front. For the first 20 minutes, everything was normal. She stayed on her phone, complaining to whoever would listen about her day at work. Something about incompetent coworkers and how she deserved better treatment. Standard stuff. We were about halfway through the route when she suddenly stood up and walked to the front of the bus. I was approaching the Maple Street stop, where several passengers were waiting to board. Karen, I need to get off here. Me, the next stop is Maple Street, just ahead. I'll be there in about 30 seconds. Karen, no, I want off right here, in front of that blue house. I looked where she was pointing. We were in the middle of a residential block, nowhere near a bus stop. The blue house she mentioned was probably 200 feet before the actual Maple Street stop. Me, I'm sorry ma'am, but I can only let passengers off at designated bus stops. Maple Street is right ahead. Karen, that's ridiculous. I can see my house from here. Just open the door. Me, bus stops are designated for safety reasons and city regulations. I could lose my job stopping anywhere else. I pulled up to the Maple Street stop and opened the doors for the waiting passengers. Several people got on, and I expected her to get off, but she just stood there glaring at me. Karen, I said I want off at my house, not at this stop. New passengers were finding seats, and I could feel the tension building. Everyone could hear our conversation. Me, ma'am, the walk from this stop to your house is probably less than 2 minutes. I really can't make unauthorized stops. Karen, I have bad knees. I shouldn't have to walk extra because of your stubborn rules. Passenger behind her. Lady, just get off and walk. It's not that far. Karen, mind your own business. This is between me and the driver. I closed the doors and started moving toward the next stop, figuring she'd eventually get off somewhere, but instead, she moved closer to my driver's seat. Karen, stop this bus right now. I'm not going any further. Me, the next stop is Oak Avenue, about 3 blocks down. Karen, no, you will stop at my house or I'm calling the police. That's when she did something that shocked everyone on the bus. She reached over and grabbed my steering wheel, trying to force me to pull over. Me, let go of the wheel. You're going to cause an accident. I had to fight to maintain control of the bus while trying to get her hands off the steering wheel. Other passengers started shouting at her to stop. An elderly man got up from his seat to help. Karen, just pull over. It's my right as a passenger. I managed to safely pull the bus to the curb and put it in park, then immediately called dispatch on my radio. Me, this is bus 47. I need police assistance. Passenger interfered with vehicle operation. Karen, good. When they get here, I'll tell them how you refuse to provide proper service. Passenger, are you crazy? Lady, you could have killed us all. Another passenger, I got it all on video. She grabbed the steering wheel. Within minutes, 2 police cars arrived. The officers boarded the bus and quickly assessed the situation. Multiple passengers offered to give statements about what they'd witnessed. Police officer, Ma'am, is it true you grabbed the steering wheel of a moving bus? Karen, I just wanted him to stop at my house. I pay taxes that fund these buses. Police officer, you interfered with the safe operation of a public transit vehicle. That's a serious offense. Karen, this is harassment. I'm a law-abiding citizen who just wanted reasonable accommodation. The officer explained that grabbing a bus driver's steering wheel was considered assault and reckless endangerment. Karen's face went white when she realized the potential charges. They arrested her right there on the bus. As they walked her off in handcuffs, she was still arguing that she'd done nothing wrong and demanding to speak to someone in charge. After giving my statement, I was able to continue the route. The remaining passengers were incredibly supportive, thanking me for keeping them safe and expressing disbelief at what they'd witnessed. 2 weeks later, I had to testify in court. Karen had been charged with assault, reckless endangerment, and interfering with public transportation. She'd also been banned from the entire city bus system. The judge sentenced her to community service, a hefty fine, and mandatory anger management classes. During sentencing, she complained that the punishment was excessive for someone just trying to get home efficiently. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Her attempt to save a 2-minute walk ended up costing her thousands in legal fees, court costs, and fines. Plus, she now had to find alternative transportation since she was banned from all city buses. Sometimes I wonder if she ever made the connection between her actions and consequences. But based on what I witnessed that day, probably not. Story 2. I've been working at this family-owned bakery for 8 months now. It's my second job. I work here on weekends while doing my main job at an office during the week. The extra money helps me pay off student loans from my business degree. The bakery is small but popular, especially on Saturday mornings when people come for fresh pastries and coffee. The owners are this sweet elderly couple who treat their employees like family. They taught me everything about customer service and how to handle the weekend rush. We get busy, but most customers are patient and understanding. They know good things are worth waiting for. That particular Saturday was busier than usual. Word had gotten out about our new cinnamon roll recipe, and we had a line of about 15 people waiting. I was working the register while my coworker handled the display case, carefully boxing up pastries and brewing fresh coffee. Everyone was chatting pleasantly, enjoying the smell of fresh bread and the cozy atmosphere. Then she burst through the door like she owned the place. She was probably in her mid-40s, wearing workout clothes and designer sunglasses pushed up on her head. She had this confident stride like she expected everyone to move out of her way automatically. Without even looking at the line of customers, she marched straight to the counter and started pushing people aside. Customer 1. Hey, excuse me. Karen, move. I have VIP status here. She physically shoved an elderly man with a cane, nearly making him lose his balance. A young mother had to pull her toddler out of the way as Karen elbowed past them. Customer 2. Lady, there's a line. Karen, I don't wait in lines. I'm a VIP customer. She made it to the front counter and slammed her hands down, completely ignoring the woman who had been patiently waiting to order. Karen, I need 6 dozen assorted pastries for my yoga class. Right now. I looked at her, then at the line of confused and angry customers behind her. Me, ma'am, you'll need to wait in line like everyone else. These customers were here first. Karen, are you deaf? I said I have VIP status. That means I go first. Me, we don't have a VIP program here. Everyone gets served in the order they arrive. Karen, that's impossible. I spend hundreds of dollars here every month. I'd been working there for 8 months and had never seen her before in my life. Me, I don't recognize you as a regular customer. You still need to wait in line. Karen, this is outrageous. Do you know who I am? Customer 3. Yeah, you're the crazy lady who just pushed a bunch of people. Karen, I'm calling corporate right now. Me, ma'am, this is a family-owned bakery. There is no corporate office. That seemed to make her even angrier. She started screaming at the top of her lungs. Karen, I demand to speak to the owner. I'm going to have you fired. I have VIP status. The elderly owner emerged from the back kitchen, flour on his apron and concern on his face. Owner, what's all the yelling about? Karen, your employee is refusing to serve me. I have VIP status and I need 6 dozen pastries immediately. Owner, we don't have VIP status here. Everyone waits their turn. Karen, that's ridiculous. I'm a very important customer. Owner, I've been running this bakery for 30 years. I've never seen you before. The other customers started laughing and sharing their thoughts. Customer 4, she pushed past all of us claiming she was VIP. Customer 5, she nearly knocked over that elderly gentleman. Karen, I don't have time for this. I'll take my business elsewhere. Customer 6, please do. But instead of leaving, she grabbed a tray of fresh croissants from the display case and started throwing them on the floor. Karen, if I can't get service, nobody can. The owner immediately called the police while I tried to stop her from destroying more pastries. She knocked over a display of cookies and scattered napkins everywhere. Customer 7, someone's recording this. This is going online. Karen, delete that video right now. I have rights. When the police arrived, multiple customers gave statements about her pushing people and destroying property. The video was already spreading on social media. Officer 1, ma'am, you're under arrest for disorderly conduct and vandalism. Karen, this is discrimination. I have VIP status. Officer 2, at a bakery that doesn't offer VIP status. Even the police officers were shaking their heads at her logic. The video went viral with the caption, "Fake VIP Karen destroys bakery." She became internet famous for all the wrong reasons. The community rallied around our little bakery, and we had record sales the following week. Karen had to pay for all the damaged pastries and was banned permanently. She also got community service hours cleaning up local businesses. The best part, she tried to claim she actually was VIP at other bakeries in town. They all posted signs saying, "No VIP Karen allowed," with her picture. Story 3. I've been teaching piano lessons out of my home for about 5 years now. It started as a way to make some extra money after I got laid off from my office job, and it turned into a pretty decent side business. I teach mostly kids from the neighborhood, usually after school hours and on weekends. My upright piano sits in my living room right by the front window, and I've never had any complaints until she moved in across the street. My daughter is 8 and has been taking lessons with me since she was 5. She's actually pretty talented and practices every day after school for about 30 minutes. Nothing too intense, mostly beginner pieces and scales, but she's dedicated. I'm proud of how hard she works at it. The woman across the street seemed normal enough when she first moved in about 6 months ago. She introduced herself as someone who worked from home doing freelance graphic design and needed a quiet environment to concentrate. I told her about the piano lessons and asked if the timing would be an issue. She said it would be fine as long as it wasn't too loud or too late in the day. The first noise complaint came in about 3 weeks after she moved in. A police officer showed up at my door on a Tuesday afternoon while my daughter was practicing a simple Mozart piece. "Officer Williams, we received a noise complaint about loud music coming from this address." Me, that's my daughter practicing piano. She's been playing for about 15 minutes. "Officer Williams, the complaint said there was excessive noise disturbing the piece." I explained that it was just a regular piano, not amplified, and that my daughter practiced the same time every day. The officer listened to her play for a minute and said it seemed perfectly reasonable. He left without writing any citation. The second complaint came 4 days later. Same officer, same confused expression. "Officer Williams, another noise complaint. Same address as before." Me, it's still just piano practice, same as last time. "Officer Williams, the caller said there was loud banging and crashing sounds." We both listened. My daughter was working through her scales, hitting each key clearly, but not loudly. The officer shook his head and left. By the 10th complaint in 6 weeks, Officer Williams looked genuinely annoyed when he showed up. Officer Williams, look, I have to respond to these calls, but this is getting ridiculous. Your kid isn't making unreasonable noise. Me, should I stop the lessons? I don't want to cause problems. Officer Williams, don't stop anything. You're not violating any noise ordinances. Piano practice at 4 in the afternoon is completely legal. The complaints kept coming. 17 total over 2 months. The police started sending different officers because Officer Williams said he couldn't keep wasting time on the same bogus calls. Each time, they'd arrive to find my daughter or one of my students playing quietly in the living room. Yesterday was the last straw. I was giving a lesson to one of my regular students, a 10-year-old boy who's been working really hard on a Bach piece. We were about halfway through the lesson when I heard my front door open. I thought maybe I'd forgotten to lock it and the wind had blown it open, but then this woman just walked into my living room like she owned the place. Karen, that's enough. I can't take this noise anymore. My student stopped playing and looked terrified. I immediately stood up. Me? Excuse me? You can't just walk into my house. Karen, I've filed 17 noise complaints and nothing gets done. I'm taking matters into my own hands. She walked over to my piano and slammed the lid down, nearly catching my student's fingers. Me, get out of my house right now or I'm calling the police. Karen, I work from home. I have deadlines. Your noise pollution is costing me money. My student was on the verge of tears. I told him to go wait in the kitchen while I dealt with this. Me, you're trespassing in my home. Leave immediately. Karen, not until you agree to stop this constant banging. It's been going on for hours. Me, it's been going on for 20 minutes, and it's a piano lesson in the middle of the afternoon. I called 911 while she stood there ranting about her right to peace and quiet. This time, Officer Martinez responded. Officer Martinez, ma'am, you can't enter someone's home without permission. Karen, they're creating a public nuisance. I have documentation. 17 official complaints. Officer Martinez, piano lessons aren't illegal. Breaking into someone's house is. She actually tried to argue that her 17 noise complaints gave her some kind of authority to enter my home and stop the lessons. The officer explained that filing false police reports was also illegal, and that all of her complaints had been deemed unfounded. Karen, but my work, my concentration, I have rights. Officer Martinez, you have the right to remain silent. She got arrested for trespassing and filing false police reports. The best part came later when I found out why she was so desperate for quiet. Turns out, she wasn't doing graphic design at all. She was running some kind of online tutoring scam, recording fake educational videos and claiming to be a certified teacher. She needed absolute silence because any background noise would expose that she wasn't actually in a professional classroom setting. The police investigation into her business shut down her whole operation. She moved out the following week. My daughter asked me if she could play extra loud the day the moving truck came. I told her to stick with her regular practice schedule, but maybe throw in a few extra scales. Story 4. I've been working as a baggage handler at Denver International Airport for about 4 years now. I got into this job because it pays decent wages and has good benefits, plus I like the physical work. It keeps me in shape, and there's something satisfying about knowing that families get reunited with their belongings at their destination. Most passengers don't even see us working out there on the tarmac, which is fine by me. We just do our job and keep the flights moving on schedule. But last Friday, I had an encounter that I'll never forget. It was around 2 p.m., and we were loading bags for a flight to Phoenix. The weather was perfect, and everything was running smoothly. We had about 20 minutes to get all the luggage loaded before the plane needed to push back from the gate. I was working with my usual crew, and we had developed a pretty efficient system. We load bags in a specific order based on weight, size, and destination connections. Heavy bags go on the bottom, fragile items get special handling, and bags for passengers with tight connections get loaded in spots where they can be accessed quickly at the destination. That's when I saw her walking across the tarmac toward us. Passengers aren't supposed to be on the tarmac at all, but somehow this woman had gotten past security and was marching straight toward our baggage cart. Karen, hey, you people loading the bags. I looked up from the suitcase I was lifting. She was wearing what looked like expensive clothes and had this angry expression on her face. Me, ma'am, you can't be out here. This is a restricted area. Karen, I don't care about your restrictions. I need to make sure my bag gets loaded first. Me, your bag will be loaded with all the other bags, ma'am. But you really need to get back to the terminal. It's not safe out here. Karen, not safe? I can see perfectly well what you're doing. You're loading bags randomly, and I need mine to go on first. My supervisor noticed the commotion and walked over. Supervisor, ma'am, how did you get onto the tarmac? Karen, that's not important. What's important is that these workers understand that my bag needs priority loading. Supervisor, we load all bags according to airline procedures. Your bag will be loaded safely. Karen, I have a very important business meeting in Phoenix, and I need my presentation materials. If my bag gets damaged or lost because you people don't know how to do your jobs properly, I'll sue this entire airport. I tried to explain the process to her. Me, ma'am, we're trained professionals. We know how to handle luggage properly. Your bag will be fine. Karen, where is it then? Show me my bag right now. I looked through the bags we still needed to load. Her suitcase was a bright red hard shell case with her initials embossed on it. Me, here it is. See? It's in perfect condition, and it'll be loaded in just a few minutes. Karen, a few minutes? No, it goes on right now. First. Supervisor, ma'am, we have procedures we need to follow. Please return to the terminal. Karen, I'm not going anywhere until I see my bag loaded first. That's when she did something I still can't believe. She grabbed her suitcase right out of my hands and started walking toward the cargo hold. Me, ma'am, stop. You can't touch the luggage once it's in our custody. But she ignored me completely. When she got to the cargo hold and saw that there were already bags loaded in there, she completely lost it. Karen, this is unacceptable. My bag should be on the bottom so nothing crushes it. Before any of us could stop her, she started pulling other passengers' bags out of the cargo hold and throwing them onto the tarmac. Suitcases, duffel bags, and backpacks went flying. Supervisor, ma'am, stop immediately. Karen, not until my bag goes in first. She threw bag after bag onto the ground. One suitcase burst open, scattering someone's clothes all over the tarmac. A laptop bag hit the ground hard, and I could hear something crack inside. By this point, airport security was running toward us. The gate agents had seen the commotion through the terminal windows and called for backup. Security officer, ma'am, step away from the aircraft immediately. Karen, these people don't know how to load bags properly. Look at this chaos. Security officer, you created this chaos. You're under arrest. Karen, arrest? For what? I'm just trying to protect my property. As they handcuffed her, she kept yelling about how incompetent we were and how she was going to get everyone fired. Meanwhile, we had to repack all the damaged bags and start the loading process over again. The flight ended up being delayed by 2 hours. We had to inspect every bag she'd thrown to make sure nothing was damaged beyond repair. 3 bags had to be completely repacked, and 1 passenger's laptop was completely destroyed. The best part came later when we found out what happened to her. She was banned from the airline, charged with trespassing on a restricted area, destruction of property, and interfering with aircraft operations. Her very important business meeting had to happen without her. Turns out she wasn't even a business traveler. She was going to Phoenix for her sister's wedding and was carrying the wedding dress in her suitcase. She'd been so worried about the dress getting wrinkled that she'd lost her mind completely. The irony is that her bag would have been handled with extra care anyway if she'd just asked nicely and mentioned what was inside. Story 5. I've been coaching high school basketball for 15 years. Started as an assistant coach right out of college. Worked my way up to head coach at Lincoln High 3 years ago. I thought I'd dealt with every type of difficult parent, but Karen proved me wrong last Tuesday afternoon. Let me give you some context first. We're 3 weeks into the season, and our team has been doing pretty well. The kids work hard, respect each other, and understand that playing time gets earned through effort and performance. One player on our team, let's call him Marcus, is a decent kid, but has some attitude issues. He's talented enough to make varsity, but he's been showing up late to practice, talking back during drills, and not putting in full effort during conditioning. Marcus's mom, Karen, has been a problem since day one. She emails me constantly about why her son isn't getting more minutes, questions every coaching decision, and has this belief that Marcus is being overlooked because I have favorites. I've tried explaining that basketball is a team sport and everyone needs to earn their spot, but she always has an excuse for why the rules shouldn't apply to her son. Last Tuesday's practice started normally. We were working on defensive rotations, something the team really needed to improve on. Marcus showed up 15 minutes late again. This was his 4th late arrival in 2 weeks, and I'd already warned him that there would be consequences. Me, Marcus, you're sitting out scrimmage today. We talked about punctuality. Marcus, coach, I had to help my mom with something. It wasn't my fault. Me, we've discussed this before. Being on time is your responsibility. Marcus rolled his eyes and walked over to the bleachers. I thought that would be the end of it, but halfway through practice, I noticed Karen standing by the gym entrance. She must have arrived to pick up Marcus and seen him sitting out. She started walking across the court while we were in the middle of a drill. Karen, excuse me, why is my son not participating? Me, ma'am, we're in the middle of practice. Marcus can explain after we're done. Karen, no, I want an explanation now. This is ridiculous. The kids all stopped what they were doing and turned to look at us. I could see Marcus sinking lower on the bleachers, clearly embarrassed. Me, Marcus was late to practice again. Sitting out scrimmage was the consequence we discussed. Karen, that's not fair. He had a legitimate excuse. You can't punish him for helping his family. Me, ma'am, I need you to step off the court so we can finish practice. Karen, I'm not going anywhere until you put my son back in that scrimmage. At this point, my assistant coach started walking over, sensing the situation was escalating. The kids were all standing around watching this woman yell at their coach. Me, this is not appropriate. We can discuss this after practice in my office. Karen, no, you're going to fix this right now. That's when things got physical. Karen actually grabbed my arm and started trying to pull me toward the bleachers where Marcus was sitting. Karen, you're coming over here to apologize to my son right now. I pulled my arm away from her grip, but she immediately grabbed my shirt sleeve. Karen, don't you dare walk away from me. You owe Marcus an apology. Assistant coach, ma'am, you need to let go of coach right now. Karen, this man is destroying my son's basketball career. Someone needs to hold him accountable. She was still holding onto my shirt, trying to drag me across the gym floor. The kids were staring in complete shock. They'd never seen an adult behave like this. Me, ma'am, you're physically assaulting me. Let go immediately or I'm calling security. Karen, this is an assault. This is a mother protecting her child. My assistant coach stepped between us and managed to get Karen to release her grip on my shirt. But she wasn't done yet. Karen, you people think you can just pick favorites and ignore talented kids like Marcus. This is discrimination. At this point, I'd had enough. I walked over to the wall phone and dialed the main office. Me, this is Coach Thompson in the gym. I need security down here immediately. We have a parent who's become physically aggressive. Karen, you're calling security on me? I'm a taxpayer. I pay your salary. Me, you just physically grabbed me and tried to force me to do what you wanted. That's not acceptable under any circumstances. Security arrived within 2 minutes, our school security guard plus the athletic director. Karen was still ranting about how unfair everything was when they walked in. Security, ma'am, we're going to need you to come with us. Karen, this is insane. I was just trying to get this coach to treat my son fairly. Athletic director, ma'am, you cannot put your hands on school staff. That's assault. Karen, I barely touched him. He's being dramatic. The athletic director looked at me, then at my assistant coach, then at the 15 kids who had witnessed everything. Athletic director, coach, do you want to press charges? I looked over at Marcus, who was now crying on the bleachers. This kid was mortified that his mother had just assaulted his coach in front of the entire team. Me, I want her banned from school property. As for charges, I'll think about it. Karen, banned. You can't ban me. I'm his mother. Security, ma'am, let's discuss this in the office. They escorted Karen out of the gym, but we could still hear her yelling in the hallway about lawsuits and discrimination and how she was going to have me fired. After they left, I gathered the team together. The kids were pretty shaken up. Me, I'm sorry you all had to see that. That's not how adults should behave, ever. One of the seniors spoke up. Senior, coach, are you okay? She really grabbed you hard. Me, I'm fine. What matters is that you understand this had nothing to do with any of you, and everything to do with one person not being able to handle consequences. Marcus came over after practice ended. Marcus, coach, I'm really sorry about my mom. I never wanted this to happen. Me, Marcus, you're not responsible for your mother's actions, but we do need to talk about your punctuality and attitude. Marcus, I know. I've been messing up. I want to do better. That conversation led to Marcus actually turning things around. He started showing up early to practice, worked harder during drills, and became one of our most improved players. The next day, the athletic director called me into his office. Athletic director, Karen has been permanently banned from school property. If she wants to see Marcus play, she'll have to watch from the parking lot. Me, what about pressing charges? Athletic director, that's still your choice, but I think the ban sends a clear message. I decided not to press charges, mainly for Marcus's sake. The kid had been embarrassed enough. 3 weeks later, we had our first home game. I noticed Karen's car parked across the street from the school, and she was watching through binoculars from the parking lot of a fast food restaurant. Marcus played great that night. He'd earned significant playing time through his improved attitude and effort. After the game, he came up to me. Marcus, coach, thanks for not giving up on me after what my mom did. Me, basketball is about what happens between the lines. Marcus, you earned your spot back through hard work. Sometimes the best way to handle entitled parents is to focus on their kids and help them become better people despite the poor examples they're getting at home.